by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Careful, fellas. Mr. President, they all want to be involved with America, and we have a lot of action going on. We're making a lot of money, this country. This country is not going to be losing money on trade anymore. We were losing $2 trillion a year on trade. Now we're going to be making money, a lot of money. So that's very good. Every country wants to partake, even countries that have ripped us off for many, many years. China is an example, but it's not just China. European Union, they ripped us off for many, many years, and those days are over. We're going to make a lot of money for our people. We'll be able to lower taxes substantially, and we're going to be proud of ourselves. They're not going to be a laughing stock that got taken advantage of by virtually every country in the world.
We thought you said you were going up to launch for a flag. What was going on?
We're putting up a beautiful, almost 100-foot tall American flag on this side and another one on the other side, two flags, top of the line. And they've needed flagpoles for 200 years. It was something I've often said, they don't have a flagpole per se. So we're putting one right where you saw us, and we're putting another one on the other side on top of the mounds. It's going to be two beautiful poles. Paid for by Trump. They arrive in about a week or so.
Can you clarify, Mr. President, on China?
Yeah, we are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing. They know that they can't get away with it any longer, but they're still going to do fine. And we're going to have a country that you can be proud of, not a laughing stock all over the world for many years. In 1913, they traded to the income tax system. We used to be all tariff, and we had no income tax, and we had the wealthiest country we've ever had proportionately. From about 1870 to 1913, it was all tariffs, and we had more money than anybody. They had committees how to spend the money. They had so much money they didn't know how to spend. Then some brilliant person said, let's go income tax. Let's let the people pay. Now, we're going to be able to substantially lower taxes when this is finished.
So, how does it look in the meantime? Are you considering?
It looks good. Yeah, no, it looks good.
While you're negotiating?
It looks good. We were losing anywhere from $3 to $5 billion a day. Think of it. We're losing billions of dollars a day under Biden and other presidents, frankly. But under Biden, it got really worse. China got out of control. We're losing $1 trillion a year. Trillion, not a billion, not a million, $1 trillion. And now we're going to be making money with everyone, and everyone's going to be happy. But we're no longer going to be the country that's ripped off by every country in the world. Thank you very much.
A few words about the Pope.
So you're beginning to hear a prominent refrain being echoed and spoken about over and over from the Trump administration, from President Trump, from Howard Lutnick, and of course through Scott Bessent. And you're hearing this, and I'm sure the new SEC chairman will begin echoing that refrain as well. And this is something where many Americans, including many who are watching this video, many in this chat, have to get used to it, have to reprogram themselves, have to completely do a mind shift and understand 100% that prosperity and hopefully following wealth accumulation is an absolutely good thing and should be sought after. There is no problem with people saying, I want to be more profitable. I want to make more money. I'd like to begin accumulating wealth. Get used to that. He's trying to tell you, get used to having money. Get used to prosperity. Get rid of the self-limiting beliefs. You've been indoctrinated. You have been put through MK Ultra. Anybody who thinks that they shouldn't go for the brass ring, that they're too old, they're too affirmed, on fixed income, understand that's the slavery they put you on, and I feel very confident saying that. Because as a black man, I can talk about slavery. You see, my peoples, as they say, my people have been in bondage and from a actual literal sense and then a mental sense for centuries. First they were brought over here. I don't know any of them, so I don't align with them, but black people were brought over here and white people were brought over here to do work and taught you to do work. And then segue a couple hundred years later, you were told you need to be taken care of. The government will make sure everything's okay. And what a lot of black people never realized was that it was the Democrats who needed you in that position. It's the Democrats who tried to do all that civil rights stuff. It was the Democrats who promoted Margaret Sanger, who basically eliminated an entire generation of minorities. They're just gone. That was all Democratic. Then they said, hey, listen, you need to have EBT, you need to have welfare, you need to have It was a psyop of epic proportions. And so what you're seeing President Trump go through right now is America is having a very hard time breaking those chains, just completely breaking those chains. And what you don't see behind the scenes, which I'm now beginning to see it much clearer, much more clear. And by the end of this show, you should hopefully see it with much more clarity. That we are already in a war. No, you don't see bombers flying over. You don't see, people being shot, by military anyways. You don't see that. And so you go about your lives, you watch television, you turn on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, or whatever, and your end of day movies or whatever, and live your life, whatever living your life is defined by, and you don't even notice that the war is already begun. Actually, it began quite some time ago. You just haven't had to get drafted. You're not making rivets. You're not doing anything in this war because it's being fought way above your head. And it's being hidden by a very complicit militia called the media. And so hopefully my job today is here to just help you open your eyes and see you're being played. The term fixed income should never be spoken ever again. I'm telling you that right now. If you're relying on a fixed income, you have been brainwashed. There is no such thing. It was made up. There's no such term as a fixed income. That's a label they put on you, which I consider as bad as calling me the N-word. Don't ever tell me at what age I'm on a fixed income. That's like calling me the N-word. I would take that much offense to somebody saying I'm on a fixed income. So, those of you who are still here after you did turn this off or something, you're going to hear that a lot in my stuff here. You're going to hear, because I'm seeing, it's opening like the Red Sea. I can see it right now. What is actually happening? And President Trump, he's been dropping the breadcrumbs. And all of you who voted for him, you've missed it. I won't say all. Many of you have missed it. As he's been laying it out there for you to see. Over and over. Notice today, impromptu press conference, very transparent, out there talking about putting a giant flag up on the White House lawn, and then comes over and what's the first thing he says? You're about to make a whole lot of money. We're making a whole lot of money. Billions and billions, trillions. And everybody in the press is like, yeah, this guy's nuts, yeah. And people watching at home, yeah, Trump keeps saying that. Meanwhile, I'm on a fixed income. Let me ask you one question. Who fixed it? Who told you? Who decided that you're on a fixed income? Who told you you couldn't be prosperous? Who told you that being wealthy was beyond your ability? Who told you all those things? Think back. Where'd you hear that? Probably not from somebody who was wealthy or prosperous. You see, I know when I lifted weights and I played football, I didn't listen to the people who didn't lift weights, who didn't look fit. I didn't listen to the people, who didn't know anything about business. If you started chirping and you said something that didn't make any sense, my mom, if she was still alive, would say, hey, he used to say, what? You were taught a few things right now. I'm going to mention them to you. And as I tell you these things, you can see that Donald Trump is breaking every single one. Let's start. One you've already begun to basically extricate yourself from is that the media is full of crap. Fake news, term he made. Fake news. Everybody uses it now. Fake news. We didn't ever break that down. We were told that Walter Cronkite and everybody else, that's the way it is. We were told that's the news. Okay. And we believed it. Now you don't believe it. That was an easy one to overcome. Segue forward, President Trump is telling you some other things, along with some of his buddies, like RFK Jr. Hey, this food sucks. We need to fix it. Let's tear down that temple of doom. We're not going to have any more dyes. We're going to tell you sugar's bad. The food pyramid was BS. He's tearing it all down. People are freaking out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my gosh. Gosh, I won't say God. Right? There's another pillar. They're taking a sledgehammer to. Nope, ain't going to happen. We're going to make sure you're healthy. Make America healthy again. And that's a pillar that has stood forever. Let's go to another one, which he just mentioned. You shouldn't have to be paying income tax. We didn't pay income tax up until 1913, and all of a sudden we started paying income tax. And we're going to make so much money, we won't have to. He's attacking another pillar. You know the old saying, there's two things that you can count on in life, death and taxes. and President Trump is telling you with no uncertain terms, it's just death. You don't have to be ingrained in your head and going, I gotta pay taxes, I gotta pay. No, we all should be striving to what? Avoid taxation, not evade. Evade is a crime. Avoid is encouraged. You are now encouraged to avoid paying as much income tax as you possibly can. And that's freaking some people out. Wait a second. You're telling me I don't get this thing, I should be doing something different every April 15th? Yes. Nobody in those positions do what you do. Put it this way, if you're still filing a 1040A or the 1040EZ, whatever it's called, you're not doing it right. If you're filing that 1040EZ form, you are basically enlisting in slavery. Because you don't know the rest of the code and what's available to you. You don't know. I know that for a fact because I know people I know don't know it. I'm like, what do you mean? Did you know? Well, no, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to mention something like that. But there are certain things in that code that you can do that allow you to, quote, avoid income tax. You see, evading means, I'm not paying anything. Avoiding means, I'm only going to give you guys this much. Remember when President Trump was at the first debate? I think it was with Hillary Clinton. What do you think about this guy? He doesn't pay any taxes. And what did he say? That makes me smart. And I'm like, I've sat back now and just charted all this. I'm going, he's telling you. He told us that way back. Remember that? In the debate? Well, this time, what's that? That makes me smart. Oh, nowhere to go there because you're all doing it too. And I know it because I used to hang out with you. Y'all shut up. They know he knows. And they're upset because he's telling you. 1913 is when taxes came in, and then maybe we should do enough not to have to pay taxes. Have you ever thought about that? So we're watching these pillars just be shredded. We saw what happened with the Jabademic, another pillar. Oh, believe all doctors. Everything a doctor says is 100% correct. Never question a doctor. Now after that thing we went through, everybody questions doctors. We're finding out doctors were getting paid under the table to do certain things. So, food, taxes, doctors, the fake news. Oh, all these pillars just being broken down. What's another one that we're seeing happen right now in front of you? Oh, the judges. You have to believe everything a judge says. Oh, you can't go against what a judge says. That's the end all and be all. And he's showing you. He's showing you they're as crooked as anybody else. He's been showing you. A lot of people are like, oh, we got to do something about these judges. I asked Tim Burchett, hey, what are you guys doing about these judges? Oh, my God, this is awful. Everybody's like, this is awful. Well, except for the left. They're like, oh, this is great because we know this is like rule for radicals. Number 4, use against you what you have come to have faith in. Hey, man, these people all believe that if they put their hand on the Bible and go to court, they have to do whatever the judge says. And Trump's just sitting back there, what's this? See what they just said? See what they're doing? Is this the country you want to live in? All 77 million of you. This is what you signed up for? Because now the veil is really pulled off our judiciary. So if you're paying attention and keeping score, you see these pillars are just going by the wayside, one after the other. Next thing, that you don't have faith like you used to. So you may have had an opposing feeling against certain politicians, but now you know they're just nuts. They're over there flying across the country, going to an international country, going to El Salvador, going, oh, let out the Maryland man. And Trump's just sitting back going, Y'all seeing this? Are you seeing it? The breadcrumbs are all there. You just have to be able to now start putting this Picasso in focus. You now have to realize, oh man, he's laying it out there for us. Those who have eyes see. Those who have ears listen. Nothing what I've said to you thus far isn't true. You just may not have put them all together. That these pillars of American society that we've been told have to be there, he's taking a jackhammer to them. Which is why they're all freaking out. Because they lived behind those pillars. They peeked out behind it every once in a while on, every 2 or 4 years to let you know, hey, you're going to have an election. Oh, there's another pillar. Our elections are BS. What do you got left? when you start looking, and again, nothing what I'm telling you am I making up. You're now all saying, wait a second, I can't believe in this. I can't believe in this. I can't believe in this. Jackhammer to every single one of these things. And as you're listening, you're thinking and going, oh crap. Yeah, none of it was real. It's all been an illusion. It was all meant to keep you in your place. And so today's video is much different than any video I've ever done, because I'm hoping my production works accordingly, because I think by the end of this video, and I don't know how long it's going to last, depending on maybe your questions and things of that nature, but I want to show you we are already at war, which then would let you understand what President Trump is doing now and what President Trump is probably going to do. You see, when people are challenging him, saying with the Aliens Enemy Act that we're at war, that we've been invaded, everybody who's challenging that in the media and in the Democrats and some Republicans are thinking to themselves, well, I don't see no planes. I don't see nothing getting bombed. I don't see any ships, submarines, or anything. What war? We are in a war of ignorance. See, I never knew how war had to be defined. And so now I'm asking you, how do you define war? What is a war? Does a war have to have bombers and stuff blowing people up? What is the reason for a war? Then you start thinking those things to yourself, like, oh, Barry, what do you mean? Tell me, what's a war? Do you have to have something bomb as long as I take control of you? Long as I'm using the word, long as I can make you submit. Long as I can get you to do what I want you to do and you become a subject of mine. Long as I can, acquire your land or your mind. Is that not a war? Hopefully some of you are doing some introspection. Those of you who are still here, I'm not even going to check the stats, because I'm like, some people, hey, this man crazy. I got to go watch, Price is Right, because he's out there. No, I'm telling you, define that. Define war. And as you're defining it, think to yourself how President Trump has defined it. Yeah, now you're starting to see more. Remember, he's done executive orders where he's using the Aliens Enemies Act because we're at war. It's a national emergency. And even the courts are saying, what war? What emergency? Well, today you're going to find out what that emergency is. And he's giving you breadcrumbs on how we fight this war. It's not like this. This war is not going to be won with people doing this. This war is going to be won with your mind. My mind, your mind. The chains that bind you. Understanding that these people are brainwashing you, and that's their weapon. Their weapon right now is to get you to submit, take your elections, feed you crap, inject you with different things, feed you with disinformation. Not a shot need be fired. All that happens, you're done. And a big part of this that's been going on for quite some time with the Al Gore type people is making you blink and think that this whole climate change thing is real. Which is why they don't want you talking about it here and other places. But if climate change is real and the environment was under attack, war, why is it that the most egregious countries in the world we're fine with? The ones who are most attacking the climate and the environment, they're okay. They're okay. Oh, President Trump, you can't raise tariffs on China. Oh no, China good, you bad. Oh, people might have to pay more for stuff here. Who cares if you're making more money? So if your eggs are $1 extra a dozen and you're not on a fixed income and you are prosperous, do you care if the eggs are $1 more a dozen? $2 more a dozen? No. No, because you become agnostic to that level of tariff. It doesn't change your life even this much. See, right now, you're probably in a position where you may be working week to week, you may be getting a check month to month, and they got you right where they need you. Yet your president keeps telling you, the guy you voted for keeps telling you, hey, we're going to be rich. One of the tenets of his campaign was make America wealthy again. Somehow people forgot that part. Did you? So when you heard President Trump say, make America wealthy again, what do you think he meant? Oh, for those people. No, not me. I can't be wealthy, President Trump. I'm sorry. I'll vote for you, but I don't qualify. Did you feel that way? Ask yourself why. Why did you feel that it was for somebody else? Why have you felt that way about somebody else for quite some time? That it was those people who could be prosperous and wealthy. Well, I don't have any opportunity. I don't know what to do. Well, maybe this is what he's doing, is opening opportunity. See, some people may not like the opportunity that's coming, that's required. See, that's where it's different. If somebody said to you tomorrow, hey, Joe, I got a job for you tomorrow. It's going to start at $100,000. And guess what? You don't really need much experience. Would you take it? So why don't we have all those kind of jobs available? Why is it that those jobs aren't as plentiful as we have people who need them? Possibly because we're in a war of ignorance, that people don't realize that these are things that they can do, and that this is what President Trump is trying to do. If you listen to the things he says, he's quite prolific. And now if you listen to the things that Scott Bessent says, he's become quite prolific. And if you listen to the things that Howard Lutnick says, he's prolific. And these are all guys who have done it. But every single one of the naysayers, they ain't done it. So you're listening to people who either A, haven't done it, or they're already rich and they're trying to keep it for themselves and they don't want you in the game. They need the plebes. They need all the plebes. I'm going to prove it to you. Some of you won't believe it. Some of you can't believe it. And some of you will take this information today and go do research and go, what in the heck is Barry talking about? And then you're going to find out. Everything I'm telling you right now is absolutely researchable, and you can actually start looking. When this guy does his press conferences, start putting the breadcrumbs down. And now realize all of these pillars have been destroyed. They're crumbling. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and you're trying to prop them back up. But your job online should be trying to bury these things, bury those misconceptions, those self-limiting beliefs. You can't do this. No, I can do whatever I want. I literally can do whatever I want. And then the first thing that goes through people's mind is, I don't have the money. Which is the worst statement you can say to yourself. Very worst statement. It's there for the taking. So I'm going to show you something right now. And hopefully, as you begin listening to this, you're going to realize a lot more of what I'm saying. This is Scott Bessent this morning. Ready?
Bulk of my career from the outside looking in on financial policy circles. Now I am on the inside looking out. I am eager to work with each of you to restore order to the international system. To achieve this, however, we must first reconstruct the IMF and World Bank reconnect the IMF and the World Bank with their founding missions. The IMF and World Bank have enduring value, but mission creep has knocked these institutions off course. We must enact key reforms to ensure the Bretton Woods institutions are serving their stakeholders, not the other way around. Here in the United States, we know we need to get our fiscal house in order. The last administration ran up the largest peacetime deficit in our nation's history. The current administration is committed to fixing this. We are open to critique, but we will not abide the IMF failing to critique the countries that most need it.
So, hey, you can talk about us, but you better be talking about them. I have a really simple example for you of people who have a very self-limiting belief. Oftentimes, you will see people in the comments here, and they will say, well, these ads suck that YouTube's running. Really? I love ads. I love to see ads on my videos. I love to see ads on other people's videos. I will even watch ads sometimes on other people's videos. You know why? Because it's free to watch the content, and I'm helping them with their business. You don't even think about that. The way most content creators make money is through ads and sponsorships and partnerships. Some people sell merchandise. I give mine away. I don't care. Because they're finding different revenue sources. And so just because you don't like it, understand that's on you. Those of us who understand the tool of advertising, who understand how that revenue works and how you can work with certain sponsors and partners so that you can be a part of the economy, because those advertisers and sponsors, that's what keeps everything rolling. I can do what I do because I have partners. I can do what I can do because there's ads. The people who are advertising, they're trying to reach potential customers. How many times have you seen on X or something like that where people say, oh, that person or this person, they're a grifter. What's a grifter? Think about that for a second. What's a grifter? They say, you know, this person was a grifter. I've even heard people say that Dan Bongino was a grifter. You have no idea, because I can tell you, the amount of work that Dan Bongino had to put in, number one, to cultivate his audience, number two, to produce a show that he got paid on, that Steven Crowder gets paid on, that Tim Pool gets paid on, that Barry Cunningham gets paid on. Again, that's that war of ignorance. Every single restaurant that you go to does advertising. How do I say every single one? Because even the ones who don't buy ads in the newspaper or websites or on television, every single one of them has a sign that you can see as you're driving. Oh, there's Joe's Fish House. How'd you drive into the parking lot? Oh, I saw your sign on the wall. oh, it worked. And I spent $10,000 on that sign with the nice colors and everything. And there's some traffic on the road, and sometimes people drive in because they saw the sign. Everything that you've known and been told that is wrong by people, it is to keep you in a certain position. And Scott Bessent here is talking about it. Don't point at us if you're not going to point at them. IMF, in case you want to know, is the International Monetary Fund, and of course you know what the World Bank is.
Principally surplus countries. In line with its core mandate, the IMF needs to call out countries like China that have pursued globally distorted policies and opaque currency practices for many decades. I also expect the IMF to call out unsustainable lending practices by certain creditor countries. China in particular is in need of a rebalancing. Recent data shows the Chinese economy tilting even further away from consumption toward manufacturing. China's economic system, with growth driven by manufacturing exports, will continue to create even more serious imbalances with its trading partners if the status quo is allowed to continue.
So as you can hear, hopefully it's not too much, but he's going after China. Not with a bazooka, not with a stealth bomber, but instead with monetary. Letting the IMF and the World Bank know this ain't going to happen any further. We're at the table, we have a different leadership, and we're not going to just lay down and let you all take advantage of us. You're not going to come upon our shore. You're not going to park a submarine off the coast. I.e., you're not going to mess with our currency and our evaluation of money. Not going to happen. You're going to play right. Call this the Geneva Conference of Money. You know the Geneva Conference of War? Hey, at least you got to treat the prisoners of war right. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, this is the Geneva Conference of Money that you're watching. This is the Geneva Conference of Wealth. No more of this shipping American dollars all over the world and having us starve. He's like, we're about to get this stuff straight. And if you look at it from a battlefield perspective, it's going to start making more and more sense to you.
China's current economic model is built on exporting its way out of its economic troubles. It's an unsustainable model that is not only harming China, but the entire world. China needs to change. The country knows it needs to change. Everyone knows it needs to change, and we want to help it change because we need rebalancing too. China can start.
We need rebalancing. So some of you may be thinking, what do you mean by we need rebalancing? Well, one of the rebalancing things that you can do here is not make people in a prison where they work 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week and then take 30 or 40% of their income to send to other countries. Listen to what he's saying. Break it down. Most people just sit back or they don't even listen to these speeches. Oh, this is boring. Oh, no, man, this is stuff that makes me drool. Should make you drool. You should watch this instead of Law and Order. I'm like, whoa, did he just say it's time for America to rebalance? Wow, did Trump say that we should be able not to have taxes? And that doesn't make you excited? Then you're not paying attention. It means you've been programmed. Oh, he's not really talking about me. He's talking about other rich people.
By moving its economy away from export overcapacity and towards supporting its own consumers and domestic demand. Such a shift would help with global rebalancing that the world desperately needs. This morning, I will explain how they can provide that leadership to build safer, stronger, and more prosperous economies all around the world.
I swear he just said that word again. You heard it, didn't you? Did you hear it, Midas? Did you hear it? Yeah. Prosperous. Let it wash over you. Let it wash over you.
I wish to invite my international counterparts to join us in working toward these goals. On this point, I wish to be clear. America first does not mean America alone. To the contrary, it is a call for deeper collaboration and mutual respect among trade partners. Far from...
I love that. We demand mutual respect. You're no longer going to be slapping us around. You're no longer going to be the ones that make us pay extra for NATO. You're going to make us pay extra for this and fund all these different countries and fund these universities and fund this and fund that and fund wars. No. You're going to have to respect us. You don't have to like me, but you're going to have to respect me. And he's delivering a message to all of these countries, which follows up with what Trump's been saying, how they're all coming in and they're starting to make deals. We haven't even heard the word deals in 4 years of Biden. No. Go look it up. You go search any of his speeches, put it in the transcript and see if you see deals anywhere in what Biden has said. Nope, never said it. You can look it up.
Stepping back, America First seeks to expand U.S. leadership in international institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. By embracing a stronger leadership role, America First seeks to restore fairness to the international economic system.
I like it. And I'm tired of people putting stuff in the chat about money is the root of all evil. Then give me yours. Go to your bank and send it over. Wire it over. I'll post some information. Go do a GoFundMe. Anyone who thinks money is bad, send me yours. I don't have any problem saying that. Because if it's bad, I don't want you to be burdened with bad stuff. God knows. As much as I go to church, I want to help you. I want to make sure that if something is troubling you, something like money is bothering you, feel free. I'm sure there's people in the chat who say, send it to me. I will unburden you. God knows, the Democrats wanted to. She was going to unburden you. She was going to tax you on unrealized capital gains. So this is the last bus. We don't get it done now. It's over. I'm telling you right now, if we don't get this fixed right now, you won't have to worry about money being the root of all evil, because you won't have any. You will live in a pod and eat a damn bug. Trust me, that's what they wanted for you. I'll be right back and take some comments. People often comment how I keep up with coverage of President Trump. Trust me, it's not easy. I get good sleep. I have a very encouraging and supportive wife. I've been working out again, and I've been eating right. That's probably the best thing. Eat right and exercise. I also take a couple of supplements that have really helped me and helped my energy. Let me tell you about one of them right now. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. And I've got grandkids, so that appealed to me. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Barry. You can see it on the screen right there. chuckdefense.com/Barry, or by clicking the link below in this video. Trust me, it will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Barry, and click on the link in the description below to watch the video right now. Trust me, it's 100% free to watch the video. No charge whatsoever, a couple minutes every time. You won't believe how simple it is. Watch this method by clicking the link in the description box below. chuckdefense.com/Barry. And just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old. He's even older than Donald Trump. and yet he has more energy than most people. I mean, that's awesome. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. All right, so go to chuckdefense.com/Barry and check out that video. All right, so I'm seeing you guys in the chat. A lot of people talking, like live independent, live free. When's enough? When's enough? Work for someone, Barry. 70, 80, 90, work to the grave. WTF, you lost me on that, bro. I didn't say you had to work to the grave. Never said that. When's enough? Only you can, only you can define that. Only you can define how much you should work. Only you can define how much money you want. See, one of the problems in your comment here, big problem in your comment, I'm sure he's talking about enough work, 70 to 80 hours of work, 90 hours of work. I don't think I've worked in the last 2 years. See, that's, again, that's a self-limiting belief. Work means that you are doing something for somebody else. You are working. You are trading your time for money. What happens if you no longer trade your time for money, but invest your time on behalf of your loved ones? Now, I understand not everybody is in that position to do that today, but you have to begin working towards that position, so that you can get to a position where you are now investing your time. You say, I stopped doing this, and I've said this many times, you guys have heard me say it. If this wasn't fun, it goes dark. Ashley's heard me say it. I'm looking down because she's texting me. If it's not fun, I'm done. Robin's heard me say it. Babe, if this starts to become like a job, I'm done. I don't want a job. I have one person here, another one up there. I have one person to answer to. Now I guess 2, Ashley. And if Robin says, hey, we got to go here tonight. Okay, no show. It's not even a question. Some of you guys, Barry, why don't you have like defined times like some of these other people? One, I'm not the other people. Number 2, I don't need to. Because I'm not doing it as a job. So, Florida Panthers are in the NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs. The first 2 games are in Tampa, and then the third game, I believe, is here in Fort Lauderdale. That day, we're probably going to go to the hockey game. It won't be an evening show. Why? The wife wants to go. The wife wants to go to the doctor, and she wants me to come with her. I go. Want to go to dinner? I go. Ashley and the kids are in town. I don't broadcast. Unless I'm at the hotel and I can set something up if the internet's good, but if not, I don't do it. You guys know this. I'm like, bye. I'm done. I don't work. I love what I do. This is fun for me. And see, it makes it even more fun when you get paid to do it. So that's the answer to your question. I probably spend 70 hours a week doing this. Sometimes I broadcast, most of the shows are 3 hours. Some are 4, 5 days a week. Sometimes one show on Saturday and Sunday. But what you don't see is the time I prepare before and what I have to do after. As long as she's okay, and she's making sure I'm fed, and she makes sure I get to the gym and do what I got to do. And, this morning I was up, I went to stretch class, and they bend me around like I'm Gumby and make sure, all my muscles aren't being tight because I'm sitting in a chair for 5 or 6 hours. I spend the money every single month to go get stretched like Gumby. And then she tells me, in addition to that, we want you to go to get massages. Got to keep the blood flowing. So those are all the things I do because I can and because I want to, because I don't work for anybody. So I don't care how many hours I spend as long as she's happy, as long as Ashley and the grandkids are happy. It's not work. You just defined your problem. And I don't mean to call you out, but the first part is how much is enough? That's up to you. The second part of it is work. I don't know nothing about work. I go to the doctor. They do my vitals. They look at me and go, "How is your blood pressure that good for a guy your size?" Because I eat well. You wouldn't notice it. I still got weight to lose, but I eat very, very well. This woman treats me like I'm giant jackrabbit. You gotta eat something green. I don't want the green stuff. I want a muffin. I want that. Nope, can't have it. I want General Tso. Not anymore, you don't. So no, I don't work. Sorry to go on a diatribe about that, but that's very important. All right, so now I'm going to segue into what's going to blow your mind. How we know we're in a war, and that you need to realize this is what's going on. It may freak some of you out, but the biggest war that we're in right now is a war for the future. The past is over. The present is now. Where's that puck going? There's a reason why I keep saying that to you. Right now, you may be in a fixed income. Right now, you may be working a job that's driving you crazy. Don't worry about that. As JJ said on prayer night, and I never thought about it that way, when he was talking about, though I walk through the valley of evil, or valley of death, rather. And what he said, and he stopped and goes, "You're getting through it." Oh, yeah, I didn't stop. I didn't stop because there was adversity. I had to go through it. And when he said it, I actually wrote it down. I'm like, whoa, hey, I didn't think about that. You're going through it. So right now, whatever you're in, unless you put the brakes on it and put it in park, you need to be going through it. You need to be going where the puck is, even if you're going through it right now. If you got to go to a job that sucks, that you hate your boss, but it's putting food on the table, if you're getting fixed income because that's where you are right now, go through it. Don't make that your end destination. Don't stop there. Go through it. Many of you have probably had more than one girlfriend. Some of us have had more than one wife. Things have happened badly. When you got divorced, did you say to yourself, that's it? I don't even want to talk to another woman ever again. I'm done. I just went through it. I just walked through the valley of death. I am done. Probably not. Probably there was a mourning period. Probably there was a lot of introspection. What did I do? What did she do? And then eventually you said, saddle up. We're going for a ride. We're going to do this again. And if that didn't work, we're going to do it again. So some of you may need to get the horse ready. Put the saddle back on. I'm here. I got to get through it. And I got to go to where that puck is. And so that's what you're about to hear right now, because some of you ain't ready for this. I know this because we've talked about it. Some of you ain't ready for what you're about to hear. I can't do anything about that. The rest of you, get on this saddle. Because what I'm about to show you is telling you what the future is, and it's going to tell you what this war is right now. No doubt. So we're going to go to, let's go ahead and let's run cut one.
If you look at DeepSeek showed up, right? Nobody expected this. It turns out it's on par now with some of the top models. Welcome. China has arrived into the competition. What would happen if China beat us? Let's think about it. The path to intelligence, that's superhuman intelligence, think of the national security implications of that competition. This is why I believe, and I'll say directly to you, that although everyone is concerned about Taiwan, I'm much more concerned about this. Because if they come to superintelligence, the strong form of intelligence first, it changes the balance of power globally in ways that we have no way of understanding, predicting, or dealing with.
So you may be thinking right now, what in the hell is he talking about, and who was that? That was Dr. Eric Schmidt. And Dr. Eric Schmidt was testifying in front of Congress to a bunch of other people who are oblivious to what's happening. He was talking about AI. And President Trump has been telling you, I'll wait for it, we need to be the AI champions. We need to be the AI leaders of the world. He's been saying it over and over and over again. Have you listened? I know some people in the chat here, they've listened, but at the same time that they've listened, they've complained and said things like, AI is bad. AI is the devil. AI is this. And AI, I bet you maybe in 1800s, they couldn't imagine that people would get into tin tubes and fly around. But we did. I bet you there were people back in, 1700s that couldn't imagine that there'd be this thing that would go 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. But we got there. I bet you people never imagined that there'd be anything even conceivable like an electric car. But here we are. I bet you people never thought for an instant that we would have self-driving cars, where you just sit there, hey, take me to the store. I got to get my mind around that part. And that's where you may be at this point. And so I'm going to ask you a question. What happens when AI, superintelligence, becomes the actual battleground? Not weapons, not land acquisition, not money, but something called raw cognitive power. Put your mind around that and think the next race, the next arms race, the next race to global domination isn't going to be with something like this. It's going to be AI superintelligence. And President Trump has been telling you that over and over and over. At this congressional hearing, you're going to hear from two of Silicon Valley's most influential people. Eric Schmidt, I didn't know he was a doctor. He must have got a PhD, was the former head CEO of Google. And then the other AI genius is Alexander Wang, who you're going to hear about. And they both are sounding the alarm, not about the future, not where the puck is going to be, but about the team on the ice today. Because right now, we're not playing right. It's a race, a war. Forget race at this point. It's a war we're already in with a rival who wants to be globally dominant as well, and that we've underestimated. And this war for AI dominance is going to completely redefine global power and global wealth. And the problem that you may be having right now is that this isn't at all science fiction. You're not watching an Isaac Asimov movie. This isn't iRobot. It's here. It's happening right now. And there's so many people, even some who used to be in the chat going, AI is bad. It's the mark of the beast. Oh my gosh. You might as well just go ahead and check out now. Bye. It's happening right now. And what these two guys say, Eric Schmidt and Alex Wang, what they say about China, you need to begin listening and hear what they had to say, because it's like OMG. Like I said, this show is going to hopefully change your mind and let you realize we are in a wartime situation. It's here. Listen to this.
It is crucial that America get there first. What is China doing? They're leading in something called open source. They're very close behind us. You all have done a great job in doing chip restrictions and things like that to try to slow them down. They're clever and they're smart. They have industrial programs, huge grants going into these companies, and they're weaponizing up in the sense of competition. If you look at DeepSeek showed up, right? Nobody expected this. It turns out it's on par now with some of the top models. Welcome. China has arrived into the competition. What would happen if China beat us?
Big question. And I'm pretty sure most of the guys up on the panel there, because they're like 75 and 80 and know what the hell they're doing, they barely use email. Hey, what would happen if China beat us? Huh? What do you mean beat? You in the chat, what do you mean beat us? What happens if China beats us in an AI race? You know, he's talking about how DeepSeek, their version of AI, pretty much came out of nowhere. No one was really watching. It took everyone by surprise. And now, between what Elon's doing with XAI, which you remember, Jasmine Crockett yesterday said he's stupid. You know, he's an idiot. Have another one, Jasmine. The sheer cognitive power that DeepSeek has been able to develop at such a limited time and computation model, it is surprising. And I don't know if you follow along on X at all, as he's putting out, Elon is putting out the updates on Grok and XAI. And it's almost every single day he's putting out, here's what it can do now. Here's what it can do now. You guys all saw the FAFO video, and that video is now obsolete. In little as, 60 days? What they did back then making that video, you can make entire Hollywood movies now with never having to go into a studio. But that's not all. There is now AI writing scripts on how to do stock trades. This war is already here. You can't underestimate China because they're working on some product over in China, because those advancements that they're working on could potentially surpass us here. Elon has been telling people that. Trump has been telling people that. And I can't for the life of me understand why people aren't letting that sink in, how big this is. And as we go further into like cut 7, 8, 9, and 10, you're going to realize how big it is. And it's going to make some of you have butt puckerage, shrinkage, sphincter shrinkage, because you're like, oh, whoa, seriously? Yeah, absolutely. By the end of this show, you'll see time and time again the references that are made to China's advancements. And then you have to understand that one of those key things that we're talking about is, what if China actually pulls ahead and wins? See, right now, everything that Elon's been saying is that they're about 3 to 6 months behind us. But they're rapidly advancing. They're full bore advancing. And in that AI war, the landscape could change pretty quickly. A breakthrough could absolutely flip the landscape and then allow China to pull ahead from us. That would be catastrophic. So in this next clip, we're going to go to cut 3. Eric Schmidt talks about what could potentially happen if China does pull ahead of the United States. Again, looking at where the puck is going, not where the puck is. Listen to this.
Let's think about it. The path to intelligence, that's superhuman intelligence, think of the national security implications of that competition. This is why I believe, and I'll say directly to you, that although everyone is concerned about Taiwan, I'm much more concerned about this. Because if they come to superintelligence, the strong form of intelligence first, it changes the balance of power globally in ways that we have no way of understanding, predicting, or dealing with. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It changes the global power structure in ways that we don't even know what that could mean. Let that sink in for a second. we're going to see a global change either with us or with them, but it's going to change. And people in our government right now have no idea what the hell's going on. Not AOC, not Bernie, not McConnell, obviously, not Murkowski. Very few of them are seeing this war even happening. They're not even in the fight. They're down in El Salvador talking about the Maryland man. They're upset, bitching about tariffs. And there's a world domination plan being executed by our biggest adversary. Wait till Russia gets involved in it. And you're worried about tariffs? You're worried about your 401k? What if AI decides it's just going to take the money out your 401k? What if our government hasn't put together the AI to protect your 401k? You thinking about that yet? I mean, there are seriously so many unknowns, and nobody really knows what superintelligence is going to be able to do, which is why the prospect of an adversary gaining access to all of this before us is so frightening. When we did the B-2 stealth bomber, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Look at this thing. Nobody else has this. Yep, nobody else has this. President Trump was talking to Elon about doing different things and, parking rockets. What did he say to Elon? First, he's talking to somebody. He's like, hey, hold on. I'm seeing something that's revolutionary here. I'm seeing something that can change the world. You're going to have to hold on, okay? And he puts the phone down, he said. And he watched this rocket park. And then he called Elon. Who else can do this? Nobody. You need to come over. You need to be at Mar-a-Lago tomorrow. I'll send a jet. Okay, I got my own. Oh, okay. Well, come down here. Nobody ever thought of that? The implications of what he was saying? Right now, it's anybody's guess where this is going to go, and hopefully the machines don't take over. But at this point right now, there's a bunch of different things that will be discussed moving forward in this video that you need to focus on. And unfortunately for us mortals, it's not happening at the speed or rate that we want it to because of our own government. One of the things that they're going to talk about, which now you're going to realize we have been conquered, or they're attempting to conquer us from within, is because he's going to talk about overregulation. And they even talk about how the EU is moving at an even slower pace than the rest of the world's innovation. And we can't be like the EU. We have to move quickly. We can't get caught with our pants down. So I want you to listen to cut 4 here. Let me put that up.
You were talking about that. So what kind of things have your decisions European leaders have made that we need to avoid?
Well, the primary issue is overregulation. We have a similar problem in America in that the overlapping set of local, federal, state rules, which were done with good intentions, have the property that they're slowing things down. Our competitor, China, is not a democracy. It's an autocracy, whatever you want to call it, and they just decide.
Okay, so now, hopefully, as he said that, which I disagree with him about some of that stuff here, the regulations, because that, I believe, is how we know that the Democrats have been operatives for the Chinese government. See, what have the Democrats been pushing for over and over and over and over and over with all these regulations and red tape? You can't rebuild a house. You're going to have to get this permit. Oh, the Green New Scam, all this other stuff to stop you from progress. Why would the Democrats be pushing so hard to stop Americans from progressing? What is it that they're trying to prevent? Because they've looked at where the puck is going too. And so all of these Green New Scam things that they're talking about, and oh my gosh, climate change, China doesn't have to follow those rules. So you're basically waving the white flag to China. You guys go ahead and win. Do whatever you need to do. Keep paying me, and I'll keep trying to push these stupid regulations on everybody. Oh, yeah, I got the deposit. Yeah, I'll vote that down. Oh, we got to do climate change. Oh, we got to do the Green New Deal. We got to do this. All of these things are to do what? Slow America down. On purpose. You've seen it. They're tying themselves to the, to street. They've got the idiots out there thinking the world's going to fall down. But you don't hear any of them talking about China. We're just doing what we got to do. We just got to do what we got to do. Meanwhile, Americans, no, we're gonna strap you in a straitjacket of regulations. We're gonna make sure that we can tie you up any possible way we can. This is not what we want here. This entire ideology has to change. This is how you can be convinced you're in a war and that people in your government who are getting paid by China, including the media, are in place covertly to subvert America's existence. Not success, existence. You have to understand and accept the forces that we are competing with externally and internally. And so you have to look at what changes lie ahead if China becomes the preeminent superpower in superintelligence. What will happen should that happen? I'm sorry to say that twice in a sentence. What should happen if that does happen? One of the things that Eric Schmidt says is the fact that, and here's where it gets really strong, there are extreme military advances and advantages that this country won't have. And that would put us in an extremely vulnerable position. Let that sink in. And it's eye-opening, of course, that a super intelligent being, a super intelligent AI, could design weapons that we just can't even predict. I want you to think about something, because we're seeing the weapons. We see the B-2. We see all this stuff and everything else, right? So if you could teleport yourself back to the Crusades, and you're like, I'm going to take the B-2 stealth bomber, and I'm going to go through a portal, and I'm going to be here in the Crusades. How long would that war have lasted? Boom, done, over. That's the equivalent of what's happening right now. We are going to be fighting with sticks and catapults against a rival who's more financially advanced, who's more AI advanced, and who is using superintelligence against us. And our government is actually facilitating that. You put that stealth bomber back in the Crusades and they would absolutely have destroyed anybody in its path. And now technology is going to do the exact same thing. So let's go to cut 5, okay? Listen to cut 5. All right.
In this fight, as I said before, if they get there first, we will be very upset. All of us will be alive when this occurs. Every one of you will see it. Imagine a situation where attacks that we cannot even imagine are unleashed by China in an adversarial thing. We have no concept of having a super intelligent opponent where we're not as intelligent as they are.
Militarily, what this means? And then what, because you write about what they can do militarily, and then we need to act now.
So in the framing in China and Taiwan, which is discussed a great deal, everyone assumes that it's a battle of missiles and aircraft carriers. That's not correct. It will be a battle of swarms of drones. Those drones will be highly intelligent, highly planned, and they'll do maneuvers that no one can anticipate. We collectively are not ready for that. Imagine a situation where China has invented new algorithms for military attacks and defense that we cannot even conceive of. Remember, I'm discussing a world where humans have a partner that is smarter than the collection of those people. As I said, this will happen in our lifetimes, and it's important that we get there first.
Scared yet? This is why, and as you hear this stuff, understand it's not Barry trying to scare you. This is why President Trump is sounding the alarm, and he's saying we need to get going here. I don't know who he's talked to. I don't know who he has at his round table, but the people at his round table have said we will not survive as a country if we don't embrace this. And not just embrace it, we have to be tops at it. We need to get there before they get there. This is no longer the Cold War. This is the intelligence war. It's a war nonetheless. When we had the so-called Cold War, and we would, have to, in grammar school, get under our desk and prepare, what would happen if a nuclear bomb hit or something? Like the desk was going to protect us. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. We tried to take as many precautions as possible. We had the Bay of Pigs, all these different things. But now we're in a war that people in government don't understand. See, at least with the Cold War, they're like, hey, they could bomb us. They could do something. They may try to invade us. They may try to bring ships on our shore and have all these guys run up the beach. But they can't wrap their head, and many people here can't wrap their head around the fact of this is a completely different kind of war. You'll never see it coming. And it's all AI driven. It's the war of the machines.
If you take a look at Ukraine, Russia right now, you see the future of war. I'm assuming, by the way, that China would start by cyber attacks and so forth. There's evidence that these new systems will be able to come up with zero-day exploits that we cannot foresee. A zero-day exploit is something we've never seen before and we can't anticipate.
Again, he speaks. The guy's a brainiac, and he's telling you something that you probably haven't thought about, because nobody here, I haven't thought about zero-day exploit. I had to go look all this up. It's like, if you don't know what the enemy can do, you can't wait to defend it. You have no way. I don't know what you can do. Oh, it happened. Zero-day exploit. I don't even know how to respond to this. I mean, I had many zero-day exploits growing up because I didn't know if I said the wrong word, what was going to happen. But after I got my butt beat by mom or dad, then it was no longer a zero-day exploit. I could expect it. Hey, if you mess up and say an F word, she's going to beat your butt. But until that happens, you're like, no, I don't give a crap. Using the S word. And you're like, hey, I got away with it. Bam. Oh, I didn't get away with it. It was a zero-day exploit. I didn't know that was coming if I did that. Fellas, if you said something to your wife and you didn't know how early in the marriage and you didn't know how she was going to react, you got a zero-day exploit. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, huh? Nope. Oh, whew. I didn't know that was going to. No, there was no manual. Nobody told me that was going to happen. That's a zero-day exploit. Think about that in a military situation, fighting a enemy that you don't even know what they're capable of doing. You can't even do a war game on it because you don't know what the response is going to be that you should be given. So if this happens, what should we do? I don't know. But that puck, if you're pushing to superintelligence capabilities, then you will be able to do that.
Lots of people who were worried that biological attacks can be done, and there's a report from the Emerging Biothreats Commission this week with the great details, and there's a classified version that all of you should take a look at. There's plenty of evidence that these things are possible.
Why would an outside person be testifying at Congress, telling them, "Hey, you might want to go take a look at what this AI could do with a biological weapon"? Y'all need to go take a look at that. That would have slapped me in the face. I'd have called my assistant. Come here, go download this. What is he talking about? I didn't know that could happen. And then so you have to wonder at this point, what kind of stuff is China actually planning? And as you begin to think what China is planning, understand that China knows where those guys can't do it. We've got our fingers in the government over there, and they got something called regulations. And these idiots are following different kind of regulations, and they won't be able to compete. We're going to catch them real quick. They're ahead now, but we can catch them because we don't have to follow the same rules. And I know you're waiting to say, Barry, how do we make money out of this? Well, it's coming. It's coming, but it's going to take you to understand why you need to embrace AI. If you haven't been paying attention to China's recent initiatives and what they've been saying, you're falling behind. Because they essentially are taking AI as serious as they've taken anything they've ever done. It is most important right now. They don't give a crap about these tariffs. That's just to keep things bouncing around in the news. That's just to make sure, the idiots on MSNBC have something to talk about and keep the Americans running around and getting their eyes off of what's most important. The severity of the situation, like it or not, is because people are turning a blind eye to the technology. Yet over there, they're going full throttle. Everything they possibly can do to advance themselves with AI is what they're going to be doing. It's stunning to see, as you sit back now, you're listening to this, and you realize the people on the dais, up the panel, the government doesn't know, and you realize the insidiousness of them putting out this green new scam, and you realize all the regulations that they put everywhere. You realize at this point that there are certain things we can't even talk about in regards to what may have already happened. If you guys look around and see what people are saying about what happened in Maui, what happened in Los Angeles, what may have happened in, North Carolina. I want you to do some research today. I want you to look up DEW. I don't want to say the words because I can say it like Mountain Dew and they won't get pissed off, but look up DEW. D-E-W. And then those of you who have never looked up DEW, you're going to go, and realize how DEW works. And then you may realize after you look up DEW or DEW, you're going to go, oh crap, it's already happening. Don't know if it was us or them, but more than likely, it was DEW. Now you guys can look in here. Go look it up. This is what the new war is like. Hey, if I gotta test it, let me go ahead and test it over there. Let me see what happens. Ooh, that worked. That worked really well. That was a zero response thing, right? Yeah, because they didn't even know it was coming. Somebody didn't even know it was coming. Let's go to cut 6 before I scare you too much. Play. Where's cut 6? Cut 6. Where am I? Did I not do it?
So you're shaking. So, Mr. Wang, you're shaking your head. I only have about 30 seconds, but if you'd like to make a comment on that comment.
I agree with Dr. Schmidt that the potential implications of national security are incredible. As he mentioned, I think the place we're going to see this first is in cyber. I think we're going to see agentic cyber warfare in which we will see incredibly powerful AI and large-scale data centers being utilized to hack into our systems.
Have you heard over the last year or two about major hacks and they're trying to say it was anonymous or this group or that group? Have you heard about different things and with water and grids and all this other? Oh, it must have been some hacker group. And then they never talk about it ever again. Hey, all these Social Security numbers got hacked. By who? Never talk about it again. Could all these things, could many of these things, all of these things be actually AI based? Now we're kind of getting out there, but I don't have any information beyond that, do you? Has anyone ever said, well, the breach from here happened because of this and this and that? Nope, they don't ever report on it. They never tell you. It's like it just happened. The people basically went into the ether, and we don't get to see who they are. So now we're at the point where it's time to actually think about what could the United States do to actually ensure AI dominance and ensure that it isn't some totalitarian government like China that actually takes control. And so now they're gonna tell you about what it is that we can do. And as you hear this, one of the things that you're going to hear is like, you're going to probably be like Marty in Back to the Future when he talked to the doctor. He'll see the part.
Over the past decade, it's become clear that the United States faces intense global competition in determining how AI should evolve and who should lead. In 2018, the Chinese Communist Party's AI master plan started taking shape. They were already developing advanced AI capabilities and using that technology to surveil and suppress their people. Fast forward to today, their plan is more sophisticated and expansive. It includes 4 key areas of focus. First, the CCP is taking a whole-of-country approach, having recently launched their AI Plus initiative. Second, the CCP is out-investing us in data, spending billions on AI-ready data and unlocking vast public datasets to fuel AI systems. Third, they're finding ways to catch up on compute and building out their physical infrastructure. And lastly, they're developing leading AI models and exporting them to the world.
Okay, so that's like a bunch of tech speak, and you're probably, oh, Barry, what the hell does that mean? Well, he said a lot in that little 30 seconds. It's what we have to do to compete with these countries, actually China. And what he said there, most people would have no idea. If I told you, if he said there as he was talking, hey, we need to build skyscrapers, everybody here would know, okay, how many skyscrapers? We need to build like 20 skyscrapers. Oh, cool. Yeah, all right, we need to build 20 skyscrapers to keep up with China. Let's go ahead and ramp up, get the contractors, electricians, plumbers, concrete people. We're ready to go. But what he said there was we need data sets, data centers, which most of you in the chat and probably most people in government have no idea what the hell that means. Data center? What's a data center? Is that the thing where IT comes and it's like a little corner of the office? See, this is where you come in. So if you've stayed for this hour and 27 minutes and you're here, now you're going to understand where the money comes in. You see, data centers are not like the IT in your office. It's not like my computer here. Data centers are massive infrastructures that have yet to be built. Massive. And at this point, we need to start thinking about where we're going to build them, how big do they have to be, how many we're going to build, how many people are we going to need to employ to build these data centers. These data centers alone, the construction of them could employ literally hundreds of thousands of people across the country. No kidding. Let's let him talk to you about some of the data centers. You ready? Let's listen.
But we are not here today to just talk about what China is doing, but to identify how the U.S. can lead. Given how close the competition is across all foundational elements, the policies this Congress promotes could determine the outcome. Global AI dominance is not about trying to level the playing field by mimicking China's authoritarian way of government and AI adoption. Instead, the United States must chart our own course, one that is aimed...
All right, so that's very important. You see, in order for us to compete, it's not to be as good as China. We don't want to be the same as China. We need to, quote, dominate China. When I was playing ball, I didn't want to compete well with the guy in front of me. I pumped as much weights as I could possibly, used some chemical enhancement, used to run. Yeah, you see how I slipped that in? Used to run, used to eat, do everything I possibly can because I wanted to dominate you. It wasn't about being as good as you are. I didn't want you to be as good as me. I wanted to dominate you. I wanted to make sure that you realized you were up against an opponent that for the next 2 or 3 hours was going to make your life miserable to the point where you submitted and realized I was dominant over you. Watch MMA. They're not trying to compete just to have fun. They're trying to get you to submit, tap out. Knock you out if I have to. Watch any wrestling. What's the thing? Takedowns. I want to take you down. I want you to tap out. I'm not interested in just being as good. We, as Americans, should be dominant. We should be better than everybody else. So right now, we're leading, but you got an opponent that will do anything to overcome you. And that includes using your media, using your government against you to keep you from becoming dominant. This is where it all should be coming into great clarity for you. We're in a war you didn't know we were in, and we're being held captive by people who are being funded by China. We're over here worried about transformers and different kinds crazy stuff, and they're out there going, we're training. We're over here. We're going to beat the heck out of the United States. We don't worry about no transformers over here. We don't worry about illegals over here. We don't worry about climate change. We want global dominance. And we look weak as hell to the rest of the world. You're actually talking about the pride puppy in the Supreme Court? Tell me this isn't happening. Tell me you're not trying to tell us about climate change while AOC and Bernie Sanders are flying around in private jets. Or Al Gore's in a private jet. And I'm thinking, how stupid do you have to be when the people telling you worry about climate change are flying around in private jets like no big deal? Because they're being paid to suppress America. We want to be dominant. I don't want to play along. I don't want to be as good. I want to dominate. Hopefully you want to dominate. That's why I was saying earlier about the whole thing about fixed income and everything else. These are things that they've put upon you to make you inferior. As a Trump supporter, since you know they've done that to blacks and Hispanics and other people on the left, you now have an opportunity to understand where the puck is going and become dominant. Don't just exist, be dominant. Let Trump understand where he wants to go. And the big part hasn't even come yet.
In American values. This is vital to our long-term national security. This requires decisive action by the United States across 4 main themes: dominate, unleash, innovate, and promote. To dominate,
unleash, innovate, promote. Dominate, innovate, unleash, promote. Which one of our school systems is promoting that? What school system anywhere in the United States are telling kids, dominate, unleash, innovate, promote? Which of you are telling your kids, your grandkids, dominate, unleash, innovate, and promote? I know I am. Ashley would tell you. I've told my grandson, hey man, you need to get out there and dominate. Push this guy around. Let him know he's in for it today. Dominate. Unleash that beast inside of you and let these people know I'm here to do business. Innovate. Get in the gym. Start working out. Do the different exercises. Go higher. Do more than they would do. And then promote. Put your videos out on social media. Let the coaches know that you're going to be that next guy. And so when he said that, I was like, that's exactly what I do. And so I ask you, I ask you, what are you doing right now in whatever business or personal situation you are in to dominate, unleash, innovate, and promote. He just said, and I thought to myself, I'm like, that, I never put it that way. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here. That's what I do in real estate. Dominate. I want to do more. I want to make more. I want to make sure Ashley, Robin, the grandkids, the dogs, they all have everything they want. Not just get along, just not survive, thrive, dominate your life. Unleash. Do whatever you need to do. Don't let anyone tell you there's any boundaries anymore. Innovate. Ashley, we need to do this. Oh, we're going to have to give away 900 Bibles. Oh, wait a second. We need to get some software to make sure we can get all these things done. We can use some AI, blah, blah, blah. Promote. Make it a part of your life.
We need to win on data. The US government is one of the largest producers of data in the world, but currently, most of that data is unavailable to advance American AI leadership. There are 3 immediate actions that would move us forward towards data dominance. First, establish a national AI data reserve. This resource should serve as a centralized hub for the government's AI work, housing relevant...
See, now, sorry, Mr. Wang, you're a genius, but I gotta tell you, number one, there's something before that. Number one, before he gets into his things that he says you can do, the first thing is you have to acknowledge you've been had. See, Americans have to sit back and go, I ain't never heard none of this before. And I don't mean that with any ignorance. I mean, your schools, your bosses, your government hasn't told you. Train yourself to dominate. No, I didn't know that. No, I'm going to offer you this much to do this work. I don't want it. I don't want to do that. I want more. I showed you guys last week a quote from Cody Sanchez. And, find something that pays you based on your performance. So that if you want to be here and you get there, you can that's good. And I guarantee you if you get paid on performance, you are never going to settle ever again. There's always going to be that higher rung. I'm telling you, I've watched it with Ashley. Ashley was a teacher. She got paid a salary. And now she's doing things that I never thought she would get to. And now we're talking almost hourly. And she's like, hey, we need to do this. We need to do that. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. And I sit back and go, it's happening. It's happening. I want to surround myself with people who aren't satisfied. Never want to be satisfied. Never. Being satisfied means you're not achieving enough. These people who are designing this AI stuff, they probably get intravenous fed because they can't get enough. It's so dominant. I want to beat you. You ever get that mindset? Think it's not something you can do? That's okay. That's okay. Then you will be dominated. See, that's the other part of this. I know SV. I don't know if he's here today. Tomorrow he's gone. SV plays pickleball. And every weekend, hey, I got a pickleball tournament to go to. He doesn't say ever, in the text he sends me, he doesn't say, you know what, I lost in pickleball. I'm never playing again. I got to hit the road, boss. He doesn't call me boss, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm playing. I'm out there. I'm trying to get to that next level. I don't know what it's like to just exist. It's just not in me. It's no fun to just exist.
Government data and allowing it to be easily shared between agencies and enabling widespread AI adoption. Second, make all government data AI ready and stand up AI data infrastructure to enable scaled implementation. And third, Congress should invest to position data dominance as a national priority.
Whoa, and that's you. That's you. Congress should invest in AI to get dominance for the United States. President Trump has said what? And he's brought over Massa, and all these people were putting hundreds and millions and billions of dollars into what? AI. I think he's heard this. Yeah, pretty sure.
Next theme is unleash, meaning we must unleash AI technology and establish an agentic government. An agentic government is one that uses AI under human supervision to enhance its operations. For example, federal agencies could leverage AI to streamline veteran healthcare paperwork, improve fraud detection at the IRS, and boost efficiency and information sharing across agencies. This will improve.
Sound like Doge? Sound like Doge to you? Which is specifically what the Democrats have a problem with? Some of them see what's coming. Like, wait a second. You're gonna use this AI stuff to cut us out? Yep. And we're gonna make sure that this is efficient. See, AI is not a bad thing. As he said, it's the people who run it.
Improve the lives of public employees and the American people. Congress should require each agency to set up at least one flagship agentic government program. Next, we must maximize the ability of companies to innovate. I believe the right regulatory framework is one that allows for innovation while still creating proper guardrails. Congress should take 3 actions. First, confirm a use case-based regulatory framework and conduct an analysis to address regulatory gaps. Second, establish one single federal AI governance standard to avoid patchwork legislation at the state level. And third, implement policies that enable American workers to become the AI workforce of the future. These policies would provide the skills necessary to train, fine-tune, and evaluate AI systems. The final theme is promote, meaning we need to promote U.S. technology globally. Countries around the world, what I call AI geopolitical swing states, will soon be forced to...
Okay, Brainiac, hold on a second. Let's go back to agentic. And I looked up agentic. It says an AI system that uses sophisticated reasoning and iterative planning to autonomously solve complex multi-step problems instantly. Agentic. Don't need a meeting. Hey, let's have a meeting after lunch. We're all going to sit in and figure this out. No, how about we just boom? Here's your plan right here. Do this. Execute. Get it done. You know who's really, really good with agentic AI? Yeah, that would be NVIDIA. What did NVIDIA just announce? $500 million investment? When you hear them saying these things like we're going to put 500 million here or 600 million here or Apple's going to put 500 million here, is anything going off in your head? What is probably going to be the biggest part of that investment besides AI? People. People. Well-trained, well-paid people. And let me just back up a second. He just said something else I want you guys to hear again and focus in on this. Okay, listen to this part right here.
Countries around the world, what I call AI geopolitical swing states, will soon be...
AI geopolitical swing states. Around the world, AI geopolitical swing states. Never thought I'd hear that term ever before. It means those are states that you can, in states, he meant countries. Those are countries, swing states that we could basically say, do business with us instead of doing business with this person. AI geopolitical swing states.
Be forced to choose between Western or CCP controlled technology. To help make sure they choose Western technology, Congress and the administration should empower NIST to complete all relevant measurement science for AI and export it to the world through the global network of AI safety institutes. America led the Industrial Revolution, the space race, the internet age. AI is the next frontier, and with your assistance, I'm confident we will lead again.
He's right. We led the industrial age. We led everything, and now we're at this crux, this fork in the road, where most people have no idea what the hell it even is. So just think, as you're sitting there, what can you do to get yourself more ready, more viable in the coming economy that's not going to be based upon fixed incomes? You know, many of you have watched or read many things about the data Republican little r. And she makes no bones about what most people would consider her, I don't know, disabilities. But she's amazing at what she has immersed herself into. She learned how she can use AI and computer analysis and all kinds of things to further her life, her family's life, even with I'm not even going to say shortcomings, because I can't do what she does. It's not a shortcoming. She's kicking butt, taking names. And then what happens when you kick butt and take names? When you show people what can be done, they attack. You see, the left doesn't want you to be in that position, which means all the more why you should be. When people are telling you you're wrong, you can't, I'm threatening you, they're telling you you're a threat to them. They're responding with the threats because, oh no, you're too good at this analysis. You're too good at AI. You're too good at what you do and using algorithms to extrapolate data. You're way too good. You are a threat to my existence. I sit up on a panel, and I sit on this panel, and I have no idea what you're talking about. I guarantee you the people these guys are talking to are taking notes and going, I don't know what he's talking about. I thought we were talking about climate change or something. I don't know, AI. You think Jasmine Crockett knows anything about AI? You think AOC knows anything about AI? Bernie? No. That's why they need to keep you in a certain position. They need to make sure that you are where they need you to be. And in case you're wondering, what if China wins? These next two cuts will explain it to you. All right, here we go.
The arrival of this new intelligence will profoundly change our country and the world in ways we cannot fully understand. And none of us, including myself and frankly anyone in this room, is prepared for the implications of this. What's happening at the moment in our industry is that we're very, very quickly, for example, developing AI programmers, and these AI programmers will replace traditional software programmers. We're building in the next year AI mathematicians that are as good as the top level graduate students in math. This is
Now, you know why Harvard and some of these elite universities are freaking out? It's sad to see where we're going with a country full of people who don't know how to achieve, because they're gonna be pushed out. Imagine all these people on welfare and public assistance and dependent upon the government, and we're moving into a world that no longer needs them. Even with the degree from the most elite university. Nope, sorry, you've been replaced.
Happening very quickly. You can look at this in a number of the products. Today you think of AI as ChatGPT, but what it really is a reasoning and planning system that we've never seen before. The implication of this is profound. In terms of the way the algorithms work, they're going to need a lot more computation than we've ever had. They're going to need a lot more energy, and I'll talk about that. What does the...
All right, so as Eric gets to this part here, this is where the light bulbs should be going off right now. You will hear him say something that is unrefutable. Was it unrefutable, irrefutable, whatever? You can't refute it. And as you hear him say this thing here, you're going to be like the Doc in Back to the Future, as he starts running through some numbers here, and then listen to the time frame in which he tells you all of this has to happen. And after you hear this and you get off this video, you need to get to the gym, do whatever you need to do, and understand I need to be all in on this. I can't watch Matlock reruns. I can't do that, especially if you're on a fixed income, then all you have is time. And if you have time, you can go so far ahead of those who aren't paying attention. Your knowledge at this point is going to set you apart where you can dominate these baristas at Starbucks. instead of saying, oh, I can't do that. I'm disabled. I'm on a fixed income. I work 40 hours a week. Okay, when you come home, start learning this. You are going to dominate the idiots. You are even going to dominate the people in government who are going to El Salvador. They're idiots. I don't mean that. Yeah, I do mean that. Degeneratively. They're nuts. Unplug and say, you know what? For the next 6 months, I am going to, in my spare time, whatever that spare time is, I am going to become an AI, I won't say expert, but extremely knowledgeable. Maybe you will become an expert. Maybe 6 months from now, you'll be saying to me, Bear, I wrote this algorithm, and when I wrote this algorithm, by the way, it's going to help you with your videos. Okay, listen to you, Fred. Thanks, Fred. Don't listen to this next 3 minutes and think to yourself, I can't do that. Because you don't know. This is something you've never done. This is something very few people have done. When I'm sitting here playing around with Grok, and some of you guys have played around in Grok, we're basically in a sandbox. Hey, can you do this, Grok? Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. It starts there, learning how to do prompts. And then, who knows? But listen.
The industry we need high skills immigration. We talk to you about this every day. Light touch regulation around cyber and bio threats. We can talk about that. And most importantly, we need the energy. And the numbers are profound.
All right. The reason why he mentioned immigration should really piss you off. You know why he mentioned immigration? Because Americans are stupid. He knows, having worked with Google, and everyone fought about the whole H-1B1 visa thing and everything else, because in where his world is, I ain't got time to train you. And everybody got pissed off about the H-1B1, whatever it was called, right? You got pissed off, maybe. What have you done about it? Why should we be importing people from India and different countries to do this stuff when we got 77 million Trump supporters who can start learning really quick and go, hey, I'm ready. Put me in, coach. See, it's easy to bitch about something and say, who are you bringing these people in here? Well, show me the people who are going to do this. Show me the people who are going to make America great again. I would hope it's not going to be people from other countries, but AI is not going to wait. All right, so get a pen and listen to what he says here as he starts talking about numbers, because mine's about to be blown.
What we need from you, if I may say that directly, is we need energy in all forms. Renewable, non-renewable, whatever. It needs to be there, and it needs to be quickly. I and others are investing in things like fusion, which are incredible, but they're not going to arrive soon enough for the need. And I'll frame this at the end by my comments about China. So people are planning 10 gigawatt data centers. Now, just to do the translation, an average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt. How many?
Did you hear that? Did it just go black? 10.2 gigawatts. Did you hear what he just said? He's going to go in more depth here, but I want to make sure you're paying close attention here. Let me just rewind that a couple of seconds, because you need to follow very closely here. Put down the coffee cup. Don't pet the dog. Pay attention for the next 75 seconds intently.
An average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt.
Hold on, I got to go back. Okay.
People are planning 10 gigawatt data centers. Now, just to do the translation, an average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt. How many nuclear power plants can we make in 1 year where we're planning this 10 gigawatt data center? Gives you a...
Okay, so mathematics. One data center requires the amount of power, 10x the amount of power that one nuclear reactor can make. One data center. One data center needs 10 nuclear power plants. You're like, what? That's how much power one data center requires. One data center, which requires 10 gigawatts, whatever, of power, is equivalent to 10 nuclear power plants of power for one data center. People are like, wait, yeah, okay. We're going to hear this one more time. It's that important because the rest of what he says, Phil, just listen very closely.
People are planning 10 gigawatt data centers. Now, just to do the translation, an average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt. How many nuclear power plants can we make in 1 year where we're planning this 10 gigawatt data center? Gives you a...
Okay, so if we need 10 nuclear power plants to power one data center, how many, this is where your algebra will come in, how many nuclear power plants do we need to build 100 data centers? So if you're thinking, one data center equals 10, and if we want to make 100 data centers, then you need 100 times. So we need 1,000 nuclear power plants. 1,000. If we want 100 data centers. Oh my God. And we need to do these all simultaneously. It's not like we build one today. All right, Fred, we've got this one done. When's the next one going up? Looks like 2029. We're slated to build another one. We need all this stuff done now. How many jobs do you think it would supply to build the data center and to build 10 nuclear power plants? But that's not all.
Sense of how big this crisis is. Many people think that the demand of energy part that our industry takes will go from 3% to 99% of total generation. One of the
I watched this and I was like, I felt like Doctor in Back to the Future. I'm like, what did you just say?
estimates that I think is most likely is that data centers will require an additional 29 gigawatts of power by 2027 and 67 more gigawatts by 2030. Gives you
Now you know why these people are putting in gazillions of dollars and people are worried about tariffs. And they're worrying about my eggs. I'm like, eggs? Where we're going, Marty, we won't need eggs. Where we're going, you won't need a fixed income. I don't know how many times you guys need to hear that. If you need the how many plants per state, so Carl's like, that's like 3 plants per week. Oh gosh. All right. I'm gonna let him finish this 39 seconds.
sense of the scale that we're talking. These things are industrial at a scale I have never seen in my life. In the terms of energy planning, the current model is mostly natural gas, peaker plants plus renewables, and that's probably going to be the path we're going to have to follow, right, to get there, and for all the reasons that you can imagine. We have a bunch of regulatory issues around fixing the energy grid. It takes, on average, 18 years to get the power transmissions and so forth to put these things in place. We need to find federal ways to preempt that and make it happen faster in order to deal with the needs.
You got the green energy nuts over here going, you can't even drill. And you got China going, let's go. We need to build 10 new nuclear power plants per state. Where we're going, you do not need cars. And I know some of you are sitting here going, you gotta be kidding me. This is where we're headed? That's where the puck is going? Yes. And it will never happen with this government. There is no way, none, not a single possible way the Democrats want us to build One new power plant. Never mind hundreds, not hundred, hundreds of new power plants. Just let that sink in. Those of you who know people who have worked on offshore rigs and have done different things like that, maybe even drilled in Texas, how much money was made by these people building these rigs and doing all this stuff in skyscrapers? And you're telling me we're about to launch a construction plan to build hundreds of nuclear power plants across the country simultaneously that have to get done before 2027, 2030? 5 years? 5 years. We need to get all this work done to make sure we keep pace and go ahead of China. So you've got President Trump over here saying we need to be AI dominant, and you've got the Democrats saying, no, you can't do it. It's got regulation. The swans and elk and all these things you can't build anything. Oh no, it's too much regulation. Think about that. All right, so let's finish up with this last piece that's 50 seconds long.
Why it's absolutely essential that we win this race to a goal that's not as clear as I would like. Dr. Schmidt.
In 5 to 10 years, every American citizen will have the equivalent of an Einstein on their phone or in their pocket.
I know somebody in there said, Barry, stop interrupting. I have to, because when they say these things, I need to make sure there's heavy emphasis on what the dude just said. So I'm not going to interrupt anymore, but then you guys tell me, hey, Barry, please, I'll look for it in the chat. Rewind that, what he just said. Okay, so I'm going to start this again, and then you guys can tell me. I won't interrupt because this is very important. So you've got a congressman. Let me just say this. You got a congressman here who's going to tell you, hey, I'm not really understanding what you're saying here. Can you give it to me straight? All right, let me give it to you straight.
Why it's absolutely essential that we win this race to a goal that's not as clear as I would like. Dr. Schmidt.
In 5 to 10 years, every American citizen will have the equivalent of an Einstein on their phone or in their pocket. This is an enormous increase in power for humans. What if that Einstein is a Chinese one?
If we follow behind the Chinese Communist Party, this technology will enable the CCP as well as other authoritarian regimes to utilize the technology to, over time, effectively take over the world. They'll be able to export their ideologies, they'll be able to utilize it as a military technology to invade other countries, and they'll be able to use it for effectively spreading their regime in a more broad way across the world.
They always keep talking about how, gas-powered cars are an existential threat. Oh, it's an existential threat. China dominating AI is an existential threat. Now you know. Now you know what lies ahead. Now you know why President Trump keeps talking about it. Now you know why they keep pushing global warming, why they have all these regulations, what they're trying to do. We have already been invaded. We already have CCP agents here, in the government, in the media, in our universities, because now the fight is here. It's on our doorstep. You can see it happening on a daily basis. What they're trying to do is trying to stop American progress, trying to stop America from fighting with China on a cyber war that is of epic proportions. I'm not crazy. Those guys who are just geniuses just told you. We need this, we need this, we need this, and everything he just said spells dollars and cents, where you can be unbelievably rewarded if you can play in this sandbox, if you can play in the lanes that they're going to be building. Talk to some people who have had to build a nuclear power plant. How much does that cost? What kind of money did they make? I know people who built bridges, and they're like, when hurricanes came through here and they had to replace things, they're like, oh man, it was awesome. We were rolling in it. They know this. The Democrats know. They've seen the reports. They know what China's doing with AI. They know what NVIDIA's doing. They know what Masa's doing. They know all these people want big AI. So they know it needs massive, massive data centers. They know it needs massive, massive power. How do we stop America from doing it? Regulatory. We'll put as much red tape in the way as possible and never allow it. They're doing it every single day. Meanwhile, they're flying around on private jets. They know. They are basically taking advantage of American ignorance. And Americans are allowing themselves to be taken advantage of. Not by President Trump. He's telling you. He opened that speech. First thing I showed you today, we're going to be rich. We're going to make so much money. And nobody ever asked him how. And he shows you the companies that are coming in. Oh, the NVIDIA. But what are they going to do? Oh, they're building data centers. What's a data center? Nobody asked. No one even Tim Pool went in the room. Never said, hey, because I never told you guys the question I would ask if I was ever lucky enough to go there. I would say, how many data centers do we need, Miss Levitt? And how many nuclear power plants do we need to build to supply those data centers? And I'd look at the rest of the room and they'd be like, what? And she'd probably say, well, President has on board right now to build, 500 data centers. And because of those 500 data centers, we would need probably 1,500 nuclear power plants. And then we'd watch people in the press room faint because that information got out. Now, they may take this video down. I don't know, because I'm telling you right now, we are at war. Trump understands we're at war, and they're trying to stop him from saving America. They're waving the white flag. They want China to rule. They're communist. It is so clear at this point. Even the former CEO of Google, who has never been a friend to the right, is like, yeah, and what did he say? I'm investing in it. Anybody with any knowledge whatsoever is diving big time into AI. And so I don't want to hear from anybody be like, oh, no, it's evil. Okay, then stay where you are. I don't care. I don't mean to be so flippant, but if that's where your mindset is, I can't help you. The rest of you, start digging. Start with ChatGPT. Start looking about, what was it called? What was the word? Let me just make sure I'm telling you what to go look at. And this was on Agentic AI. It's right on NVIDIA's website. Start looking up what Agentic, Agentic, Agentic AI is and what it can do for you. So I hope, I didn't get a chance to take many comments because I didn't want to be here for 4 hours, because if I stopped and people are already mad. Let it play, stop interrupting. All right, I won't interrupt. But then I know there's going to be questions. So let's go ahead and take some questions, because the left wants to dominate, but for all the wrong reasons. Back to the days where everybody had a mule and a plow, if you're lucky, imagine. Christie's like, taking notes. It's about the power, control, and money. Follow the money crumbs. And President Trump keeps laying them out there for you. Outer space, screw that. Inner space is where it's at. If you can't stop it, prepare and embrace it. Yeah, just 500 data centers. We would need 5,000 nuclear power plants. How many people you think would have to be employed to build 5,000 nuclear power plants? I can't even imagine. And of course, they'd be screaming, "Oh, things are going to happen. It would blow up. It would." We're way past 3 Mile Island. Okay, there's all kinds of safety measures. There's AI to make sure stuff doesn't blow up. You know what I'm saying? But constructing it, just imagine how much work. I'm telling you, many of you, they say, listen, we're building an AI plant, a nuclear power plant in Bradenton, Florida, and we need 600 people, 1,000 people, whatever it is. How many people are get in the car? How much they pay? 100,000. Barry is preparing us for the future. I try. I absolutely try. There would be no employment. Somebody asked, George says, what is DEW? You have to look that one up. I can't say the words right now because certain people are listening and they may not like me talking about it. I helped wire a data center in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was huge. It took almost 2 years to finish. See, the problem with understanding what these guys just said is most people have no idea what a data center is. What's a data center? You need some computers? Oh boy. Let's see here. Our nuclear power plants need replacing. Very realistic show today. I hope you enjoyed all that stuff. I mean, because my granddaughters are soon to be millionaires because they are involved in power plants. Their son just got working at one of the plants. Yeah. Just if there's anything I can say to anybody, it's just stop. Stop letting other people define you. And if you just pay attention to what's happening. See, that stuff never got on television. I don't know if you guys had seen that before. I saw it and I was like, oh gosh. And as soon as I saw it, everything fell into place. Everything that we've been seeing and the climate change, and like I said, the media, the judiciary, Trump has walked in with a giant, not a sledgehammer, you're right, it's a jackhammer. And he's just tearing them all down. So now, in closing, you know all this now. Your mind's back and going, 15,000 gigawatts, whatever. Now you know all this. You've heard this. You have two choices. Just like we always say with the red pill and the blue pill, you can take the blue pill, ignore what I said, and just keep living the life that you're living. That's it. You're done. Or you can start doing something to find out where that puck is going to be and never have to worry about complaining ever again. And if you're not doing it for you, do it for your spouse. If you're not doing it for your spouse, do it for your grandkids. But do it. Because you'll have no one else to blame. And then the other thing, the big thing you're going to have to realize that none of this happens unless Trump goes nuclear. See, that's why I don't know what the term is. I don't know what the words are. If it's not martial law, but the only way any of this happens is if he just does it. They'll never let him build nuclear. Are you kidding me? You know how long it would take to get approval to get a nuclear power plant built? We'd all be old. Nope. You know how long it would take for him to get every single thing? Oh, the global warming, the emissions, and all blah blah. China don't have it. How come you guys are so worried about here? Because if it's going up into the atmosphere, isn't that for everybody? Isn't that global warming? How come you don't care what China's doing? Oh, you don't care about... Why can't we do what China's doing? We're not talking about just right there. We're talking about global, right? So the only way this happens, and this is where you guys need to really begin taking that red pill. The only way this happens if Trump goes nuclear. No pun intended. He's gonna have to ignore the courts. He's gonna have to ignore the Democrats. He's gonna have to ignore the media and all the whining and the screaming and say, I'm pulling the Band-Aid off. We're going to fix America. That's the only way this happens. This has to be done, completed in the next 5 to 7 years. Not planned, not contemplated, not having, it has to be done in the next 5-7 years. That's why he's talking about make America wealthy again and all the different things that he's been referring to. And people are going to try and hold him back. Let me see what I got here. Yes, I do have something from Patriot Knives. I think it's a knife. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have the red. I think it's the red knife. Yeah. No, it's a new kind of knife. I don't have this one. This, let's see. I'm going to have to read this one because I don't know what this one is. Folks, we have a new Patriot Act offer, and they've brought their best offer yet. Not only are they sending free military-grade tactical knives to Fanfare viewers, but now they're including a 100% free tactical carambit knife as a bonus. Just scan the QR code over here to claim yours. Hundreds of you guys have, and literally hundreds of you guys have already claimed your Trump red knife, so they want to do something extra special as a way of saying thank you. Normally these two knives would cost you over $90, but right now you get both just for the cost of shipping. The Rescue Tack Knife with its glass breaker and seatbelt cutter would save your life in an emergency, and the razor-sharp carambit is perfect for everyday carry with its discreet, ergonomic design that will fit perfectly in your hands. But, however, availability is incredibly limited, and it's first come, first served. Just scan the QR code to apply your 100% off coupon and claim your free knife bundle now before they're all gone. Again, scan the QR code right over here to grab yours for free. That's interesting. So we got a new tactical knife that's being offered to you guys. So hopefully that is something you guys want to do, and let me know how it goes. Let's see what else we got here. Hooked Blade, Kenneth, Ask Grok, somebody saying, yeah, Ask Grok. All right, so I'm going to be back at 7:30 with a regular show. We'll do a 10 spot and whatever new stuff I can dig up for today. But I just wanted you guys all to see that, understand it. I doubt many people even saw that video of them testifying before Congress in terms of where we are with the Chinese super race for intelligence and AI. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I hope you guys look into this deeply and understand what it is that's going on. And I know most people on YouTube are not even talking about this kind of stuff. I've looked around because I had to look around to do my due diligence. And I'm like, are people talking about this? Are they even letting people know about this? You know, sometimes news isn't news. It's because they're not telling people about it. You know, the news is out there if you look. So I try to look as much as possible. All right, let me go ahead and read off these super chats, and so you guys can go at lunch or whatever, or I can go get lunch if I'm talking about myself. All right, let's do this. Tilly, hello, Fanfare family. Hello, Tilly. Farrell, thanks for the uplifting message. I needed to hear this, Barry. Thank you very much. I'm glad you did. How Granny sees it. Fixed income is a pair of handcuffs. Best thing ever happens to me as a disabled person was not being able to collect SSI because I was a stay-at-home mom for years. Now I have to be self-reliant, think creatively, get that freedom. You're so right. Trepidator. Barry's so nuts, I have to support him. Oh, Veteran Biker was in here. Hey, man. Hey, Ben. Supporting Democrats is like giving Stevie Wonder the keys to my truck. That's funny. GD Biddy. Echo Canyon concert stream online. Pay to view. I think that's a Christian concert company. Okay. Kelly Bradshaw. POTUS can use the Insurrection Act. The reason why he's using these terms, they have no idea. NJ Sound, absolutely, AI will reshape the world for centuries. NJ Sound, NVIDIA gives 47% to China. That's why. Miss AVI, Squid Games. She's talking about Mr. Beast did that stuff too. Mr. B saw a sign yesterday that said, if you love your job and you love your boss, you must be self-employed. Great. Mr. Mike, I feel like China's been behind paying off the Democrats the slowest, just like you said, so they could become the AI superpower and rule the world. Sound far-fetched. It used to sound far-fetched, but now you realize what we're in. Thanks, Barry. Thank you. Farrell Borderline, I did see cybercuity for the U.S. Army, and yes, everything you're saying is true. There's a whole digital battlefield people don't see. They don't even look. Hey, Granny, again, country song. If you're going through hell, good song on my playlist. Yes, I've heard that. Karen C4, these days schools teach everyone, gets a participation trophy, no pride in competition and winning. Hated that. CR, thank you very much for the Bibles. Hey, Tommy, hope you're feeling better. Spend an acoustic evening with Tommy for original Christian songs and some classic rock fun. Wow, thanks. Good job, Tommy. Jose Bazil, hey, Barry, I'm on a fixed income, not to give to the Democrats. Jose again, if I was Tom Homan, I keep getting asked the same question. I would say, hold on, and get some, and walk away, leave. Maximus, Barry, what about acquiring the land the Chinese bought and build data centers? That would be perfect. Say, yeah, sorry, you forfeited it. Bye. And by the way, Democrats didn't have any problem with all that land being bought by China. Demon of Cybertron, can you imagine Kamala trying to comprehend this? Nope. Nope. She'd have sat there and just... as these guys were... well, I can't blame her because the Republicans that were on up there were doing the same thing. The guy said, so exactly what does this mean? It means you're obsolete. That's what it means. Nicholas Cervani, where's it? 0-day exploit means undetectable. Yep. Just like I said, the first time I swore, I didn't know what was going to happen, so I had an undetectable attack happen shortly after I swore in front of my mom. Levitha de Souza, thank you. Robert Husbands, there are 54 nuke power stations, UI, United States, 94 reactors. Thank you for the information. Sylvia Blue, thank you, Barry. This information is needed. I believe this is from God. I know God put Donald Trump back in office for such a time as this. That's exactly what I've been saying to people. God gives us knowledge. He gives using it for good. Can't be bad. Mary Kellums, can I please get your email address again? That would be showmail@fanfareshop.org. So I hope I've given you guys some food for thought, and we've spent the last 2 hours, and if nothing else, you sit back and go, wow, never knew this. May have to watch this again. May have to bring a friend over and go, did you hear this? Do you know what this means? Because it's way out there and nobody's teaching it. Not in our colleges, not in our high schools. Nope, kids aren't hearing about it. So now you know the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. All right, see you guys at 7:30 tonight. Thanks, man.